Oh, hello, everybody. Jello, Margie.
Hello.
I looked up and saw your Jello, and I looked at the clock and went, "Holy cow! It's after 12." Last time I looked, it was 1:45. I just need to set an alarm. Ouch! Oh, that was my knee. Hi, Elaine. So good to see you. Oh, sorry you can't stay long, but hope you can be here for some of it. And if you like it, then you can come back and watch the rest of it by video after the fact. The video is always there. So, gathering up a couple things here that we were just doing. Getting a couple of samples already made. Okay. Well, I guess it's just us. Let me get my YouTube up here so I can see. Where's everybody today? I know Glynis won't be here. She had an appointment. Okay, we'll get started. And if they come in, they come in. And if not, they can watch on replay. All right, so today we are talking labels and how to alter labels or make them more fun to use in our junk journals or on tags and pockets and things like that. Okay, come on, YouTube. Here we go. There we are. Okay. So I have a bunch of different labels. Ooh, that plate looks really pretty. I like those colors.
I know.
Looks
now
like
I just gotta get them up.
Yeah. I just looked at it on YouTube and it's really pretty. It looks like rust and patina. Okay, so I am caught up, I believe, here. Yeah. There we go. All right. Okay, so I've got this roll of labels, this gigantic roll of labels. And then I've got some sheets of labels, and this is kind of the standard address label. It's about that big. Kind of standard there. I pulled out a couple sheets of that. And then this is a skinny label. I started with clean hands and then was in here early, started playing with stuff, and now I'm, look like I've been in the coal mine. This is a skinny label. It's about this long and just a little skinnier. But we could cut that into pieces, into sections, or in half if we wanted to. And then I found on my shelf these clear labels. So it's a regular label, but it's clear. And that really makes some interesting things to use. I really liked the results of that one. And then I found some round. So this is a fairly large, that's probably a inch and a half round. And then I found some tiny rounds that I would say are probably 3/4 of an inch, just little guys. So if you just need a spot of something here or there. So we're going to do some different things, show you some different techniques with all of the different labels. How you can make the labels. Hi, Julie. Hey, Tina. Good to see you. Show you some different things that you can do with labels. Because, when you're making something, you don't really grab a white label and say, oh, what can I do to this one little label and use it on my thing? But if you had a whole strip or a whole sheet of labels that were already done, altered, if you will, maybe with ink or paint or whatever on them, and ready to go as a little mini background, and all you needed to do was layer it with other things or add it as a spot of color or embellishment on something. We'll oftentimes grab 3 or 4 things and layer them on a tag, and a little label is one of the things we tend to grab the most, and we put something under it, something over it, and so that's what these could be used for. Save you having to buy all the other labels. So I've got some strips off of that gigantic roll. Let me move these up out of the way until we're ready for them. And let's start with, I'm going to start with the tiniest label I have, which is this little clear one here. I will start with the clear label. And if anybody else comes in, somebody holler so that we can say hi. We want to welcome all our new subscribers. We're so excited to have you here. And we want to welcome all our returning subscribers. We appreciate you still being here. This is truly a fun place to be. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this sheet, I'll probably start with the whole sheet, and then I may only do half a sheet just in the interest of time, because there's so many ways to alter labels, and we've got 4 good ones that we definitely want to show you today. So I'm going to grab my vintage photo and let's see. I'll grab another vintage photo. This one seems pretty dry. Well, there's some coming up now, but it is pretty dry. I need to re-ink that. All right. You could use ink or oxide. I thought I had a vintage photo oxide, but I may not. I've got 3 vintage photo inks, but I might not have an oxide. If I do, I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't have it in oxide.
I don't know that I've ever reached for a vintage photo oxide. Well, not on a regular basis anyway, but I tend to use the oxides when I do labels and all the other colors.
I like the distressed ones better.
Really juicy. Okay, so I want it to be very distressed, so I don't want it to be even, Steven, all the way around. So this nice juicy one is putting down some big blobs, and that's okay. I don't have to do it myself because it's doing it for me. What I'm doing is just covering all the labels. Hi, Laura. Covering all the labels in vintage photo. Okay, so they're all colored in vintage photo. And this is the clear label, remember? Maybe. This is the label right here. It starts out clear. It's small and it's clear. So that's the one we're working with. I'll stick that right there so that we remember. Check Mom's notifications or look on my subscription page. She did send out the notifications this morning. I do remember seeing that. Okay, so now we've got the whole thing covered in vintage photo. And so now we're going to do some stamping on it. And for the stamping, I want first something that has words, but these are tiny labels, so I don't want it to be very big. And I was looking for something like this. Wait, I have another one right here that had, or something like this, but I don't want this whole big thing. I need something small that won't cover the whole thing. Even, let's see, even this typography set, this is a good one here, but it's still so big. I don't want to cover the entire label, and you'll see why. Before I lose all these, let me get them back in there. Okay, so I may try to see if I can, I'm going to do some with this one, but I'll show you why. It's kind of hard to do with a big stamp because I don't, I can try just getting ink on maybe the first couple rows, because that's really all I want is the first couple of rows. Okay. But if the whole thing has ink on it, there's really no way to hold it up and not let it touch and still get a decent stamp. That was awkward, and it did smear just a little bit. But so I've got this one. It's only 2 lines. I wanted even a little bit smaller than this, but it's workable. It's workable. So I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'll do some this way. I'll do some that way, but I don't want to cover up any entire sticker. Okay. That's what I'm doing. When I stamped this one, it went partly on one, partly on the other, or even if it's all on one, still not covering up an entire, like, let me see here where, if I go that way. So I got a little bit over here, some on that one, and a little bit over here. This is just not the best stamp for this. But I couldn't find, I'm going to try this one again. I couldn't find a little tiny stamp that had little tiny writing on it. That wasn't just some swirly happy birthday or something, and I don't want a happy birthday label. That's not what I'm making. So we'll try this and see how it works. It'll probably work just fine. But okay, so continue to do this. I do want some writing on all stamps. I just don't want any stamp completely covered with writing. That's my goal there. Hi, Sylvia. Oh, hi, Kathy. It's just outside dry. Would think it would smear. It's not oxide. It's regular ink, and it does dry out. It does dry out. I know that, Kathy, that is kind of different. It does dry on here. This, I put regular vintage photo ink down first. I just, went through with my blending brush and put it everywhere. And so now I'm putting some text on. Maybe if I'm going to try this. Of course, I get the whole thing all inky, then I won't be able to do anything. I want some text on every label, but I don't want any label completely covered with text. I want empty space. What's happening?
I lost my text block that I had.
Ah.
Oh,
Okay.
there
So, let's see. Just double check in to see if everything has some text on it. And doesn't even matter if it's straight. Just some random text on everything somewhere. Okay. So that works. All right. So let me put is that black soot? Oh, shoot, it was. I meant to do that with, I thought I grabbed the other. What? Oh, I did. And then I put the lid on it. Oh, goodness. Candy. What? Lost my mind today already. I reached over, grabbed my second vintage photo, and then proceeded to set it down and pick up the black soot.
You are crazy.
Oh, either that or just plain, I don't know, I lost my mind. Yeah, I meant to do that in vintage photo. I did not mean to do that in black soot. So, okay, if I go over it after I put it down, Kathy, then it smears. See that one right there? Just smeared. I just wanted to test that because it's on top of a label. But once it's dried, and it does work. Let me show you one. This is actually the same. This is actually the same label set. Oh, I know why that's smearing. I didn't mean to use black soot on that. I meant to use archival. Oh, goodness, Marianne, you have lost it. I meant to use archival ink on these. So vintage photo in the background, and then stamp the text with archival ink. Then I grab a bunch of teeny tiny stamps, and all the stamping needs to be archival ink or it will smear. Kathy is right. And that's why mine didn't smear, because I used archival ink, not distress. So I took my teeny tiny stamps and I stamped them all out on here. I did a first and then a second, just so I could see what they were, because some of them are teeny tiny and are kind of hard to even tell what they are. So then all I'm going to do is take these teeny tiny stamps. I like this one. Doesn't stick to the block very well, but it's just got a funky little design on it. I don't know. Can you even see it? There we go. If it'll, oh, you know what? I forgot to tell it not to autofocus. Let me go do that real quick. That'll help if we're having any focus problems. There we go. Okay. So see this teeny tiny stamp? It's just got a funky design on it. And I like it. So then I'm going to take these teeny tiny ones. Now I feel like I need to redo that. Maybe it won't smear. Yeah, it's going to smear. It's going to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I screwed up.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Well, good thing that this can be fast and I don't have to explain it to you now what I'm doing. Let me just do it fast.
I'm just using some white labels, Kathy. These are just cheap little office labels.
So these are clear, and then the next technique that we do, I will be using white ones as well. I just wanted to show you that you can make use of the clear ones as well, and they actually end up acting and looking kind of like washi tape. So making your own washi tape, but already having sticky on it. Okay, so there we go.
That didn't pull up.
Okay, now I'm going to stamp again, and this time I am using Stays On. Oh, jeez Louise. Or is it Sylvia's fault? It's Sylvia's fault because she's not in here keeping me straight. Sylvia. Okay.
Now mine, we were experimenting with alcohol ink, so it had a first layer of alcohol ink on it.
Oh, on your label?
Yeah.
Already?
Remember from the first set we did when we were experimenting before we went live. So,
oh yeah, I'm starting with blank ones, guys. So that you know, we're going to show you different techniques. One of them doesn't
one blank. I started one blank, but this one was.
Oh, okay. One of them is with alcohol ink, but we want to show you from the beginning so you don't wonder, well, what did you already do that we didn't see? So it's just stamping some text or script, whatever it is on here. Doesn't matter where, can be very random, as long as there's some on every label. That's all that really matters, because they look really cool with them and they look kind of empty without them. So get some text on every label. Other than that, there's no rhyme or reason. Let's see, just making sure everything has some text or script, as it were. Okay, now we're going to the teeny tiny stamps. We're still using archival ink so that it will not smear. And we're just going to take these teeny tiny ones. And if you look at the labels, there's a lot of label that does not have text on it. It's got vintage photo, but it's just label. So where there is, and we want this just again, random, so it's crossing over them, not that it stays only on one label. So they'll get parts and pieces. Some will have more of one or less. These strips down the middle too that pull up, they get done as well, and they are very cool to use because they're just strips of washi tape, really is what they are. Okay, that's enough of that one because we want to leave some space for something else. So now let's take, here's just a little flourish of some kind. Let's pick that one up. And let's go put that flourish in there. Here and there. All around the square. Okay, and then I've got a little leaf here. So let's pick up this little leaf. And let's put a leaf here and there. And, you know, if the whole leaf is on one label, it doesn't even matter if there's some on the label next to it because they're separate labels. They're going to be pulled up separately. But if it goes over one, so two of them get a part of a leaf. Oh, shoot. That is a call I have to take. I'm going to mute for a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, Julie's getting her new glasses today. Woohoo! Be able to see. Yeah, I gave glasses. I like contacts. These are this is a printout from a digital from, I believe it's Took's Craft Tables. She had like some fun labels and these ones are blank. And I just printed those out because it's just easier for me. I don't have to worry about stamping them. I mean, I have these stamps, but you know, I'm lazy. And then I have some clear ones that I'm going to do.
Okay. I am back. Sorry about that.
Yeah. These are not my own. I didn't stamp the. Oh, you could stamp yours, ladies. I'm not saying you can't. I just was lazy. I printed this out.
So mine is just a sheet of labels or a roll of labels. I've got different kinds I showed right at the beginning, and we're going to use all of them. It's just a sheet of, you know, like this kind of stuff that you buy, you know, a package with a roll of labels. These are the round ones, and I do have round ones, so we'll be using those as well. So we get a few leaves, a leaf here and there. Where else could we use a leaf and leaves? Okay, so no leaves over here. Leaves. Oh my goodness. Man, my grammar is suffering today. And I'm going ahead and letting it cross over to the center as well, not just label to label, but across the center, because that strip that pulls up is really fun to use. And it's just another long strip of exactly the same thing. Okay, so let's put the leaf down and let's choose another one. I'm going to choose this teeny tiny little label here. It doesn't have anything in it. It's just a little square label. So we'll put a few of those here and there. I will let some of them overlap some things. My goal is not to just pile them on, layer them on top of each other all over the place, but I will let them overlap here or there, which makes it a little more random and fun. And making sure that I get down that middle strip. Okay, and then let's find another design here. What do we have? Oh, there's two little tiny flowers. I think that's it. They're so tiny, and on the acrylic ones, you can't see. They're clear. Sometimes it's hard to see what they even are. There we go. I'm not sure if they're flowers or if they're cherries hanging upside down. I don't even know. They might be cherries. Actually, they probably are. But we'll put a few of those.
Uh-oh, where'd my pokey tool go?
And let's see. What I'm looking for is where is the blank space? Because once all the blank space is full, we will stop. Okay, I wanted some text on every label, and then we're spreading around these images that we're stamping on. Every one is obviously not going to go on every label, but every label will get some things. But as soon as as soon as all the empty space is full, then we stop stamping. I can still see some big empty labels here. And if I have to, I could go back and fill in a little more script. The second generation stamp is a little lighter. So if you do one and then you want a lighter one next to something else, just go ahead and stamp it twice. Let's see here. Empty space. We're looking for where there's empty space on labels. Okay, let's grab another design. How about a little ampersand? Which way? There, that way. Okay, that'll fill some tiny spaces.
Yeah, Tooks does have some good stuff. I mean, and I just like the plain labels. And it's the set has other labels in it that she's designed, but then she just has a plain one that you can print out. So
it's kind of nice.
Yeah, so you're not just paying for a blank page. And her stuff is not very expensive either. So.
Oh, cool. All right, so any other blank? Looks pretty blank in here. Need to get a different design. Let's get a little starburst that makes a little black. I want something that is not. Oh, here's a cute one. It's like a little almost like a tea kettle, teeny tiny. Okay.
No, it's on Etsy. She's on Etsy. Search for Tooks craft table.
Okay. Okay. So now our page is filled up. And that's what we wanted. So we're not going to use this page as a page like this. Because, yeah, it's a little bit busy. It's a little bit full. It doesn't look like a whole lot of anything. But you have to remember that you're going to take the labels off one by one and use the little labels. I'm looking for any other space that might need something. Okay. So here's what it looks like. Whoops, just tore that label sheet in half. This is the same. These are the same labels. These are the clear labels. And this is exactly the same. It's vintage photo. And then it's the exact same little stamps. And I just kept those in a little container. Been using these. And so when you peel these off, they look like little pieces of washi tape. Let me grab a scrap. So here's a little scrap. It's kind of a vintage looking piece of paper. I put that on right there. And you can just use them as you would either washi or labels on tags and tickets and pockets and things in your junk journals, or even on, directly on pages. These are just teeny tiny ones. So often we're making small tags, and you need to be able to add something to a small tag. Thought I had a small tag right here. It's been floating around all weekend. Now it's gone. Oh, here. I mean, this is a canvas tag, so I probably wouldn't put one on here, but you take one and you start layering stuff. You put something like this, and I would put something behind it and then put this on, and then maybe put a little round embellishment right there. And it just adds another layer. And this one is pretty see-through because they were clear labels. So it works pretty much everywhere. So those are pretty cool. And they're pretty fun to use. Okay, so that is the first way. And that I really only do that on the little tiny labels, the little teeny tiny ones like that. Any of the bigger labels, I prefer one of the other techniques, which we will now go into. Let's see. So the next thing we're going to do is take a sheet. I'll take a sheet of the regular like address labels. So that would be like this size. All familiar with that. Okay, and so this one, we're going to use Vintage Photo. And if I had Oxide Vintage Photo, I would use it. But apparently I don't. I have 3 Vintage Photo inks and no Oxide. And I'm going to use Victorian Velvet. I happen to like those two together. So I'm just going to take it and rub it directly onto the labels. Okay, all I want to do is get that grungy background coverage here. I'm not looking for anything in particular. And that's much faster than using your brush. Okay, and then I'm going to take the Victorian Velvet and I'm going to rub it right over the top. And this is Oxide. Now, here's the key to doing these labels. And Kathy, this might be, because this does not smear, but this might be the difference in what you were saying about it smearing. When the other one dries, it probably will not smear, but it will take it longer to dry because it is distress, not archival. Whoops. That one's really grungy. The thing that you have to remember about the labels is that you need to have paper labels. Some labels have that really thin, like plastic coating. You don't want those. It needs to be just paper, paper. Okay, and now I'm going to take some napkin scraps. Grabbed a few napkin scraps. And I'm just going to use a glue stick that is almost gone. So hopefully I can get rid of a bunch of it. And put some of this down. Maybe I can just do it straight onto here. It's much easier than trying to do it onto the napkin. And then just press it down. You could use regular glue if you wanted. I'm trying to get rid of this glue stick, and it really works for this. Works well in the napkins because they don't need a whole lot to hold them. All right, so I'm going to, and don't worry if it crosses over. You know, we've got a whole sheet of stamps. So obviously we're not going to put it on just one, or labels. We're not going to put it on one individual label. Okay. And you could use any color, any kind of napkin scraps. Rice paper scraps work too. And we're doing these all really fast. And as they dry completely, they tend to change a bit. And they look way better after they've dried. So I'll usually do some altering and then just let them sit and then come back later the next day. One of my favorite ways to alter labels that we are not going to do today And I don't think that I remembered to share it with you went back last year when we were doing shaving cream. But one of my favorite ways to alter labels is shaving cream. It is awesome. And you just do the same shaving cream technique that we did on everything else. And then the labels come up marbled, and they're so cool. And then when you peel them off individually, you have individual.
It's so messy.
But it's so much fun. Sometimes you just want to get messy, and sometimes you just don't. So we're already going to get messy enough today and had enough things going on.
Feel like a nut. Sometimes you do.
True. And
Wait, I always feel like a nut, so whatever.
I know. I wasn't going to say that, but yeah. pretty much do. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I can't help it. I just grab the wrong ink and act like a nut. So just gluing these down.
You know you did it on purpose.
Yeah, right. So that I had to go do a whole
trying to
other
show them what not to do.
Yeah, that's right. Margie told me to always know what not to do. Okay. Yes, I did. Okay, let's see. Grab something else that has a pretty flower. There's not a whole lot of space left, but we could get a little bit of flower down here. Again, they don't all have to be covered. Just parts and pieces. In fact, it's kind of better if they're not completely all covered. I've kind of covered a lot of this one. I don't usually even do that much. Okay. And I just put glue stick over the top. That just helps to hold it down. Of course, it's going to be sticky when I go to cut them, but it's okay. I don't mind. And if you tear it off, that's okay too, because we don't want the whole thing covered.
When you go to cut them, if they're still sticky, just wipe it with a baby wipe a little bit. It'll come off.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Or just leave them sit till they dry and don't be so impatient like I am. Okay, so now we've got napkin down here and there on our labels. So we put vintage photo and we put Victorian velvet, and then we put some napkin down. I feel like, well, there's a lot of white right here. I should have torn that out, but I feel like we need a little bit of flower or something with color over that, because I don't really just want white on there. So I'm going to do this. And any color that you want labels, just look for that color napkin or rice paper scraps. Just use scraps. These were like quarters that were just left. It doesn't need to be anything, as you can see, any big pieces. And actually, these are kind of big. So scraps are great. I'm going to cover that white. I put some underneath it, but I'm also putting some over the top because now it's 2 layers of napkin. And let's go just a little bit over this white over here. Think about that as I grabbed it until I looked at it. And you definitely want to take the napkins apart. Just use the top ply. If your napkin won't come apart, just do it together, because if it's that stuck, it's going to stick. All right. What is with all the white? Who wasn't paying attention over here? Who was supposed to be?
I'm going to put on my gel plate.
Who was supposed to be my keeper today that didn't keep me in line? And I did this. I did something wrong, like usual. Tear that white off. Too much white. Okay. All right. So now we've got napkins down. That's good. Okay. Now we're going to take some washi tape, and we're just going to put some washi tape all the way across it, random like. I know I had a butterfly one. That's the one I want. Where did it go?
Where did it go? Washi tape.
What?
You didn't tell me washi tape.
I did.
No, you didn't.
We were probably busy talking in between them. And
let me see. Let me find my notebook. All right, what you've put down. Washi tape was not on there.
Sorry. Oh, and And because washi tape is meant to not stick, I'm going to put a little strip of glue, this glue stick, as I put this across. I don't want it to go straight across any label. So some labels are going to get a bigger little piece of washi. Some are going to get just a corner. That's okay. That's just fine. So got some butterflies. What else have I got over here? Here's some black and white. Let's do a bit of that. Do one right across here. Good way to use up your washi tape if you've got too much washi tape. If you've had labels sitting on your shelf or in a drawer forever and you haven't used the labels, I challenge you to take them out and do this and make them usable instead of going and buying more decorated labels. Decorate your own. And this is a thinner one, and it has florals on it. So let's get that on there somewhere. Okay, how about right across the middle? Remember, we're not making a big picture here that's supposed to look good. We're making however many are on this, 36 or however many are there, 36 individual usable labels. Okay. So now it's a little sticky because I put glue stick over the top of it. Just going to cut all these off. So it doesn't look like a whole lot of anything really fantastic as a whole. But when you look at the colors and the vintage and the washi that you like, here's a half a sheet of one that has dried. So you can see a difference as it has dried. And then you can add stamping if you want. This one got a little bit of stamping right there. So now what I'll do is just cut this into thirds, because there are 3 columns of labels. Okay. And then I'm going to I don't want to cut, I like to cut them apart so that you can see them, but I don't want to cut them apart because I may not cut exactly on the line and then they're not straight, which probably shouldn't matter because I typically end up tearing them when I go to use them. I'll tear them to give them a torn edge instead of having the straight edge that they have. I'll just tear them like this. They tear pretty easily once they're dry. I should grab the dry one and do it. So here's the label. Yeah, that is just gooey wet. Let me grab a dry one. Now everything's sticking to me. Ah! Okay.
It sucks.
Here's the dry one. But these are the little skinny ones. And I do make those because, and typically I'll just tear them in half. But they're not my favorite to do this technique because they are skinny. I prefer these address labels on this one. But if I cut them, I don't pull anything off of the label next to it. Okay, let me pull the label up. And so then and you could round the corners with your corner rounder or with your scissors. But now it's a nice mixed media label. You do it with whatever colors you want of rice paper or napkin. It's got a little bit of stamping on it. I know they never look as great on TV or, screen as they are in real life.
This paint sucks.
But, uh-oh, what's happening?
These tubes of paint I'm trying to get rid of.
Oh, I'm going to try this one here. So if I cut this, try to cut it between them so I'm not ripping something off the label next to it. Trust me, guys, the technique works and it looks really cool. I know that they don't, it's hard to see. It's amazing. That's the first thing everybody said at retreat was, wow, everything looks so much better in person than, when you're looking at anybody's anything in pictures or online. It's just not as great. But this technique really works, and they're great labels. So this is a really nice size. You could cut it in half and make two and have one just coming off the edge of a tag. So you just have a little bit coming out. If you're doing a tag and you put something down, maybe you put a little flower or something, you put a little flower down, the flower would go on top. What am I saying? You put something down like this, whatever it is, and then you put a little label, and then you put a little flower on top. These are great. They're just the right accent. And if you have them in different colors, whatever colors you're using, or just all vintage, that works too. So you see the washi tape that went across the top of it? This one got just a little bit of the floral, and it got a little bit of the black and white, and it got some of the pink flower of the napkin. So they are pretty cool, and they do work. I am not going to throw these away because I like them. They are really nice to use. But yeah, if you cut them apart, then they won't rip napkin off of the one next to it, especially if you're doing it right after you put them together. They do need time to dry. That glue stick needs time to dry. So, okay, let go of my fingers. The top is sticking to my fingers because it's gluey. The bottom's sticking to my fingers because it's sticky. So these right here are the ones from this sheet, from the other side of this sheet. And they have dried completely. And they are skinny ones. But the skinny ones are a lot like washi tape. So take a look at these. I mean, that's a pretty cool little strip of washi tape. And if you have, black napkins or blue napkins, whatever colors you have, you make whatever you want, so it'll go with the things that you're making. You can customize these to whatever your project is. So, and then this is what I typically do with them. I'll put a little word on them. Sometimes I will wait until I use it to put the word on. Okay, here's one of the strips from the clear one that we just did, the very first one, put on top of one of these that didn't have a whole lot of stuff on it. So I just put that on, and it looks like a little piece of washi tape. It looks aged and vintagey, that clear one. So little words are good. In the interest of time, I'm not going to take time to show you how to do that because you know how to cut out or tear out a word and add it to your label. So the bigger the label is, the bigger the word you could put on it. Those are little tiny ones. Okay, here's a strip from the little tiny ones. So if I peel that off, it'll be a whole little washi strip, like this thing down the side and down the middle. I already cut it, but down the middle there was a strip of clear that ends up looking like washi tape. Okay, so that's the second technique. just taken a quick look at the chat here. Thanks for getting the bot. Bad boys, run.
Yeah, run.
Margie is very quick on that. Let's see. So, were you talking about, the paint, drying the paint with a fan?
Well, it's not right over me, Julie. So it's
yeah, no, it's okay. And you can, like, if you want to use these right away, you can dry them with a blow dryer. I would put it on cool, and I would hold it far away because the heat will melt the backing of the labels that has the sticky stuff. All right, let me move those over to the side. And let's go to number 3. Get a drink. Let's move the washi out of the way. And all of these. Don't forget, hashtag 1,000 subs on this video or any other videos on the channel. Because as soon as we hit 1,000 subs, somebody is going to be drawn by leaving that hashtag and win a box that is over $450 value of craft supplies. Okay, get all those things out of the way, and we don't need brushes anymore. What we do need is a gel plate. Let's see. I'm trying to tell which side I was working on before. I think it was this side. I'm going to leave this side up. Okay. So the next technique, I know I grabbed a couple stencils. There they are. Okay. The next technique, actually, there are multiple techniques to do with the gel plate. We'll just do a couple of them. So let's pick us some labels here. We could do these long, skinny ones here. We'll do some of the regular address labels, and these are fun for the round labels. We'll do both sizes of round labels. Okay. All right, so the first technique is with acrylic paint. Now, acrylic paint, we've done a lot of stuff on the gel plate with acrylic paint. So that is not new to you. What?
You think we do enough?
Yeah, really. I had some great labels with acrylic paint, and then I went and covered them. I'll show you a couple here that, as I pulled this out before we went live, I don't like that glare. As I pulled this out before we went live, it had a lot of grunge on it. It still has quite a bit of grunge. And so I put down these strips of labels, and to pull up some of the grunge, I just put down some gold metallic paint and then picked up some of the grunge with it. So this is strictly putting gold metallic paint on what was already there from last time and then pulling it up. Let's see if there's another one that hasn't already been. Well, okay. That one has some red and gold. And then the rest of these are kind of a fifth thing. We'll show you 3 and 4, and then number 5 is kind of mixing them together. So I'll leave that to show you then. All right. So what we're going to do is just put some acrylic paint onto the gel plate. Colors. I think I'm looking for that metallic gold. That's a metallic bronze. We'll use that one too. Let's start with this gold. Okay. Ooh, that's kind of runny. All right. So we're going to put some gold down. Maybe a little too much. That's okay. I can cover the whole plate because I can cover the whole thing up with labels. This is, what did I say it was, like 12 by 15? Something like that. I really want to get the 9 by 12. And this afternoon I will be able to check on how much that is to see if it's something we can get at a decent price to have in the shop. 9 by 12 because my whole paper would fit on it. I wouldn't have to deal with those white edges.
Get my paper off.
But it's not quite as big as this, which is a little bit big. A lot of times I don't fill the whole thing when I'm using this one. I'll fill half of it, and then while that one's sitting there, I'll do something on the other half of it so I can kind of go back and forth. So I'm just going to start laying these strips first down here. I'm going to cover them in gold metallic. Hi, Angie. How are you feeling? Any better? Hope you're feeling somewhat better. Poor Angie's had a rough time of it ever since her surgery. Okay, and then I'm going to pull these right up. They don't need to sit there very long. It's not the same gold that I used before, I can tell. That's okay. I got multiple golds down here. It even picked up some of the grunge. I really like that exactly as that is. Especially these on the edge, I might not want to do something over that. I really like that. That's a really good background sticker. Oh, gee, look at all this. Maybe this first one is just to pick up all the grunge. Because I am not going to ruin that. That's cool. Okay. Wow. All right, I'll put down some more gold now that we got some of that good grunge picked up. And where's that? Where's the other one? That's bronze. I know it's right here because we were using it right before this one. Okay, this one's a little bit brighter gold. All right. Okay, for this one, I'm going to go ahead and lay down a sheet of labels that we just had, the whole page, and then I'll fill in whatever space is left with these strips. That's pretty thick. Get that spread all the way to the edge. Okay, and where are the sheets? I just set it down. Shoot. Okay, let's start with this one. All right. And then I'm going to just fill in strips. Margie, baby brayer. Yeah. My brayers live in the big rolling cart that all the paint is in. And they're not there this morning. I don't know where they are. That was really weird. The only thing that was there was the baby brayers. So I'm using baby brayers on a grandpa gel plate. Okay, so we'll give that a minute to dry. That's just a nice bright gold. Now, the reason I picked these up from the side is because they tend to lift less. If I pick them up like this, sometimes they come up nicely, and sometimes a label will stick. And it kind of depends on how much grunge is underneath that it's picking up. But when I pick them up from the side, they tend to stick less. Okay, so part of that was not on, so I'm just going to bring it over here to that edge that was left without anything on it. Okay, the end label didn't get any. There we go. And that end. Okay, this end label. Just giving them a minute to dry for the next step. Better keep that brayer out where I can get to it. And the other one. Just takes so much longer to brayer it with the little tiny ones. That's all. All right. Okay. All right. So then the next step that we'll do on these, there's so many different things that you can do. So only showing you a couple of them. I'm going to set these up here so they don't fall in my water. I want a bright blue. Turquoise tends to be really pretty with the gold. Turquoise and Indian turquoise. This one's a little darker. Try that one. Or, ooh, ultramarine blue would be pretty. One's more purpley. Well, let's put one on half of it and the other one on the other half and see which we like the best. It doesn't matter. They're all going to be individual labels, right? So it's not like a whole picture where they all need to be exactly the same. This one's almost done. Can you see all the labels on here too? So in the end, when I finally pick up all the stuff on the gel plate, there's going to be some cool label imprints on a page. All right, we'll let that one sit that way so it can come down. Use it all up. Okay, this was the turquoise, the Stamperia turquoise. Stamperia order is in with all the new stuff.
Wonderful.
I know. All of a sudden I'm going, wait a minute, I just clearanced out to make room and now there's enough stuff coming in already. And then I still have to order all the Ranger and the Finnabar and all the other things that we want. Actually, I've been looking at a place to lease. Not a great time. Commercial stuff is as bad as residential stuff right now. Ooh, that's pretty. That is very pretty. I want to get it to the edge because there's a lot of good grunge over there. And if we put labels on it, I hope it'll pick up some of it. And some of it will even cross over here. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is put a stencil down on top of it. I'm going to choose this one. I typically choose, it's not going to cover the whole thing though. I typically choose something that has small holes, not great big holes, because you want to be able, the labels are small and you want to be able to see some shape in them. And so if the holes are too big, then you can't see it on the label. All right, so now we're going to take these labels that we just did and we're going to lay them down. And I'm only going to lay it where there's design here so we can pick some up. We're going to put it over the top of it and rub it. And we're just trying to pick up the paint in the holes. Perfect. Okay, and so we'll put this one next to it, the other half. Perfect. Okay, so let's let that dry. So here's our whole sheet of labels. Let's put that down right here. And we know that the whole sheet is not going to get some of the blue or turquoise because it's square and the stencil is not. And just rub across it. Don't hesitate to let your fingers kind of go down in those grooves. Okay, it looks cool like that, but remember they're individual labels. So when we peel the labels off, they're just going to have bits and pieces, parts of that stencil. Going to look really cool. This didn't get any and this didn't get any. So it looks like there's still some wet paint right up here. I'm going to put this down on that. Let's see if I can pick that up. Oh, yeah. Okay. And a little bit more there. A little bit. Okay, that's fine. As long as it has a little bit of paint on it, it's going to look cool when it's pulled up as a label. So, where's one of our labels? Here's one of our labels. So if you do this in colors that you want for a particular project, you can have a whole sheet of labels. Every one of them looks different. So if you use them throughout the project or throughout the book, everyone looks different, but yet they all coordinate because they're all the same colors. And then if that's too large for what you're using it for, I mean, it really kind of looks like a piece of washi tape. Be cool to hinge things with. If it's too large, just tear it in half when you go to use it. Okay. So then we'll pick that up. And my water bucket is not 12 by 12. It's 8.5 by 11. Well, it'll hold part of it. I finally remembered to bring a water bucket in for the stencils, and now it's not big enough. Let's see. Catch up here. Oh, Julie, you have 9 by 11? 9 by 11. Yeah. I was thinking it was 9x12, the Dilutions one. Yeah, that's the one that I'm going to look into to see if it's reasonable price that we can get it. I do like that because then your whole piece of paper gets covered. So I'm talking to their rep this afternoon. Brand does not matter. Actually, brand does not matter. I have a couple of different brands of gel plates, and I don't find any difference among any of them. As long as they're the commercially made ones, they all are made with the same kind of consistency. Yeah, you could do anything that you do with a regular sheet of paper. Yeah, I do like the 8.5 by 11, or not. It's not 8.5 by 11. It's 8 by 10. I always say that. It's a good size to start with for people who are just getting into it because it's not too big to manage. And it depends what you're going to use the paper for. If you're doing paper that is 5 by 7 or 6 by 9, then the 8 by 10 is perfect size for doing that. It also does the 8.5 by 11 regular piece of typing paper, but as you all know, you get that white border around it. And then you just have to figure out what to do with it. Either stamp on it, grunge it up. You know, you could take some of these labels and put it down there and make a nice border around it with the labels. So, all right. So this is sitting there, just giving it a minute to kind of dry. And this over here and this over here didn't have anything on them. So I'm going to take this one and just kind of tap it here and there to pick up some of that paint because it's kind of still very wet. Oops, I should have moved around the label when I did that. Moved around the paint, forgot to move around the label. And so all you get is the gold with the color that you want on it. And when you take these off as individual labels, they look really cool. And then you can stamp, use archival ink when you stamp so that it will be permanent. But that's a really cool little label, background label, and you can stamp anything on it. So these labels are great. If you find labels at the thrift store, I mean, that's why I have so many. I pick them up at the thrift store, at estate sales, garage sales, whatever. You know, people will have them in their office and then they just sit there and then they finally get rid of them. So as these start to dry, look at these that we're just picking up grunge off of the plate. They look pretty cool with the grunge that it picked up. Some of that grunge it's picking up is alcohol ink. I can tell by the color. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you can do with acrylic paint. And we just did one technique with the stencil. I'm going to pick this up, and we'll go ahead and pick this up with some of these other labels. Let's see. I think we'll use the circles, the rounds, both sizes, so you can see what happens with that. We're going to need to put a layer. And where is it? I don't want white, but I want antique linen. Where did it go? I don't know where it went. All right. What is this? Oh, that's fabric stencil paint. Cool. The other thing I should show you while we have these out is the how to use those. Oh, that's Snow White. Goodness. All right. How about Snow White and a little bit of, tiny bit of yellow and try to make it an antique linen because I really don't want Snow White as the background, and that's kind of running. The technique for using those, what are they? Those, they look like stencils, but they're the pink one is the rose, and then there's a black one that has the wood grain. What are they? You know what I'm talking about?
Rocker tools?
No, they look like stencils, and we sold them with the stencils, but they're like art screen.
Oh, the art screens.
Art screens, yeah. how to use those, because they're a little bit different than regular stencils. So I should show you how to use the art screen, although I don't have that handy in here. Oh, that is way too yellow. That's just a weird bright yellow. Too much yellow. All right. Well, hopefully it'll be thin enough. It won't really show up, just kind of be a background. It's drying too fast. Get this down quickly. I'll keep working on that one. All right, so let's put that one down. Half of that one down. Okay. Now we're going to be able to pull several times from this because of those layers. Because we'll pull it right away for the labels, and we're still going to get some of that stencil on it, but there's going to be enough stencil there, see, that we'll be able to pull it multiple times. So you can still see the stencil image. I don't know, maybe you can't see it. I can see it. The stencil image is still on here, but these are round labels. Where is our label? All I see is the stencil. And they're so wet. Give it a chance to dry. Okay, let's give it just a minute to dry, and then we'll peel one of those up. And then this is the larger of the colored labels. There's a lot of paint right there on the edge. So I'm going to put that down. Came off the edge of that. See if we can smash it up. Well, we lost one stencil or one label there. I didn't see it come off. It was on the side that didn't get anything too. That's too bad. Okay, we'll put it over there. All right, so where are the labels? There's a label. Now you could keep, after you pull out all the circle labels, keep the frame too. So you could do this in any color you want, and then you still see that stencil going through it very subtly, but it's definitely there in real life. Do them in any color you want, and then you've got circle labels. So if you like to put a circle and a square and, you know, different shapes for different things, these will change. They will look different as they dry. They always do change as they dry. All I see is the stencil. I can't even see the labels. That's crazy. These little ones don't pop out so much because they're so small. But let it dry, and then they will. And also, I would wait till it's dry to do this, but go to the corner. And take your teeny tiny tweezers, very sharp, pointy tweezers, and use it to separate maybe. Oh, goodness. Here we go. If you wait until it's dry, and then you go grab hold of it and gently peel up, you can peel up the frame and leave all the labels in place. So you have a sheet of labels. When you want one, you can see them and just choose exactly the color you want. What's going on?
Snow yellow.
I know.
Not good.
That had way too much yellow on it.
Maple,
Not my favorite, but
green.
it came out very chartreuse. So you could also put this down, or you could tear this up and use little bits and pieces if you're making a collage or mixed media, and tear pieces and put them up and then layer something over, over edges of it. But you could use that frame. So let me move that off to the side. But here, this is how I prefer to keep them, is just a sheet of labels like this, because then I can see exactly.
We want to give Sylvia a mic. Yes, we do, Sylvia. We want to give her a mic.
Who?
Sylvia.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Sylvia, we do want to give you a mic. I like it this way because if I'm going, even if they're all the same color, they're really not. This one has a lot of brown and grungy on it. This one has a lot of yellow. I would probably do a lot of stamping on top of this one. And, get a lot of vintage on top of that. This one has a lot of green. So you could get exactly the color that you want. And the texture is really cool because it picked up the stencil texture. So same with this one. Well, only half of this sheet got paint on it, but same thing where you can just pick up your frame. And then when you go to use these, maybe you want one that fades from white to color. Maybe you want one that has more yellow, or one that has more blue, or one that has more green. This row has more texture from the stencil. This row has more mottled colors. And these two fade from one to the other. So you can pick whichever you want when you go to use it. That's ideal, I think, because anyway, that's how I like to store them, is without the frame around them. So you can see as these dry, they start to look a little bit better. I really like these. You can use any stencil, it doesn't matter, because you're really not getting that. But like I said, use something that doesn't have giant holes. If they've got great big holes, you could get almost a whole label on inside the hole and not get any paint on it. And the idea is to get mostly paint and some hole. Margie, remember the other day we did strips? I couldn't throw away those times. Oh, Sylvia, you're awesome. Okay, so the fourth, so that was the third technique, using acrylic paint with your gel plate. And I'm going to keep these here because we might use them. The fourth technique, I really need to get some of this up, or just flip it over. I'll do that. It's not going to stick because it's all covered in paint, which is pretty smooth. All I need is a spot that'll stick. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so the fourth technique then involves alcohol ink. And I just brought over a few. Let me get this paint out of the way. And again, there's so many ways that you can alter labels, especially when you're using the gel plate. There's just so many different things you could do. So we're only showing you a couple today, and then you can, I'm sure you've already thought of other things, other techniques to use on the gel plate with the acrylic paint. Just, you know, got to get your brain thinking that that's something to do. So we just show you a basic one, and then you can think of all kinds of other things. Let me get a couple more of these strips out. To do like these strips in the alcohol ink. So the alcohol ink is really interesting. You can get so many different looks with it. So I start the alcohol ink by putting some alcohol on the plate. And I might squirt it and I might spray it. So let's just spray some alcohol, straight alcohol down. When I put the alcohol ink on here, I want it to already go ahead and start running around, moving. I mean, it's not really going to run. Don't, you know, maybe that wasn't a good word. It's not really going to run. I just don't want it to sit still and just stick to the thing. I wish it would, but at least it doesn't just, you know, stick to the plate and that's where it is. Because then I just get a bunch of bubbles or circles when and if that's what you want, then great, just do that. But if I don't, if I want some kind of, you know, movement in it, then I'll spray it after I put it down. I'll spray it from the side, and that gets those little, until it starts to run out, that gets those little circles and strips moving, so they just don't sit in a flat circle or strip when I go to put the stuff on top of them. Doesn't really matter how much alcohol you use. I'm using this kind of like the little blower tool to get them moving, because that alcohol is going to dry up immediately. It's going to evaporate. It's just alcohol. So these soak up immediately. So they do not need to stay in the alcohol ink. Just leave it there long enough to get color on everything. And then I pick it up. Okay. Doesn't look like a whole lot yet. Just hold tight, because they are really cool.
Yeah, they come out really cool. Here, you need to go full screen on this one.
One of my favorite ones. I didn't prepare a place to set them, so let me move these guys. I'm going to move the Distress inks over here. Now, if you've got a lot that's running like this, I'll just set it back on here and tap it just to get some of it off, because I don't want it running. I don't need it running. All it does is pool, and that does not look really cool.
You can put two together.
Yeah, that's true. You can do that too.
Oh, too dark.
Okay, so we got a whole lot more here. And it's really runny because I sprayed a lot of alcohol on it, because I wanted it not to be just sitting in one place. So you probably can't see, maybe you can, I don't know. But when I set this down, even from the back, I can see it just start soaking up the alcohol. And so I know it's getting covered already. So this edge has a whole little ridge. I'm just going to tap that down to get that mostly off. And I'm going to set that down. Okay, we're just going to let them dry for a minute, and then you're going to see some stuff, and you're going to like it, I think, I hope. All right, so I'm going to use the big sheet, and this is the address labels. Doesn't matter that it already got stuff on it, because I'm going to put more stuff on it. And I typically don't do more than 3 colors. You can do as many as you want, but remember, sometimes I'll brayer them too. And when you do that, and I'll show you doing that, if they are opposites on the color wheel, you're just going to end up with a muddy mess, muddy brown. It kind of looks like that anyway until it dries when you brayer it. Okay, so let me show you brayer. brayer one. Okay. So let's put down, there's still quite a bit of ink on here. So I will, all the colors that I brought over, I only grabbed a handful. I think they'll pretty much go together. Let's try. Let's try and find out. This is Dijon. Ooh, I don't think I've used Dijon on any of these. Have you?
No, I didn't grab that one.
So I grabbed Dijon, and this one is Rosewood. And these dry really fast because remember, it's alcohol. So they're just going to dry super fast. They don't have time to drip and pool and settle. Okay, Rosewood and Dijon, and how about Ember? Okay, so I've got some color. Let's get it saturated with alcohol. That one's running out. So you can do this. It makes it spread even faster. All right, and let's take our baby gold brayer, and I'm only going to run through it like once. And you really can't brayer it like you normally do because all you do then is push it all over here and you have a big puddle over here. Okay, it just looks like one big color, but every time I've done that, even though it looks like one big color, there's still 3 colors there, and all 3 colors show up. Whoa, nope. Okay, so Rosewood and Ember came together, overrode Dijon, although I can see a hint of Dijon under there. All right, we're going to have to bring something else into it. That is really interesting. I haven't used those 3 together. Okay, they totally overrode Dijon, and it's more of a campfire, shades of a campfire. All right, so I'm going to set that down, let it dry for a minute, and I'm going to add a little stream. Give it a little stream. Set the little stream. And let's just see. Mix it right in. And let's see what that adds to it. Now, because that is just shades of the same color, kind of, I will wait till it dries and then do another layer of something on top of it, or I will stamp on top of it.
Yeah, I got paper stuck on mine.
Now, the cool thing is these change, absolutely change when they dry. It kind of looks cool now, but trust me, it looks so much better when it dries. I'm going to show you some that are dried. So if you like any of the ones that you see, oh, that looks really cool, just wait till it's dry. Okay, even the 2 that we just did, like just seconds ago. Look at that. Aren't those cool backgrounds? And that there's the other one. Not 100% dry, but quite a bit. Okay, I'm going to use this while it's still pretty wet. Now I can see where the circles are. Okay, I've got to let that dry. This one is pretty dry. I'm going to hang that one right there. Okay, so that looks really cool and cloudy, but remember, they're all different labels. So some are going to have more of one color than another, but isn't that an awesome background? So still need to pick up the rest of that, but let me show you a couple more. These are ones I did right before we went live, so they've just had time to dry. Look at that. That one picked up some grunge off the plate. Love that. This one reminds me a lot of Cosmos. Okay. And then you can also take the ones that you put acrylic paint on and dip those in the alcohol ink and get alcohol ink on top of acrylic paint. These were just trying to pick up the grunge. I love this one. Alcohol ink on top of the acrylic paint. Look at tons of grunge. Part of those. I don't think they're even watching us, Candy.
They probably aren't. I quit with the labels. I'm trying to get my plate cleaned off. We're talking about coffee.
Yeah.
I'm coloring a cheesecloth.
Julie took the conversation somewhere else. So they're not paying any attention to us at all. That's okay. Totally okay. Here's the sheet we just did of circle labels. It's starting to dry. I'm going to do some little labels here. I think I've got some, what is that one? Little circles. That's okay. We can play amongst ourselves. We're pretty good at that.
I'm good at that.
I know how to play by myself.
We only got 15 minutes.
Yeah. So guys, remember that tomorrow is the last day for the giveaway. If you haven't, I think you probably all have, but just in case you haven't gotten in the giveaway, don't forget to do that today. And I would really, really, really appreciate it. Love y'all. If you'd go into the giveaway and then share it on all your social media again. So share it on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook and wherever you are, wherever it gives an option. That would be really awesome to kind of spread the word out there so we can meet some new Happy Paper people. And it's always fun when we get new people in because it's that excitement all over again. We all like that. So every time we share it, we get a couple new people. So I'd appreciate any of you who can take a minute to do that. Help Happy Paper people grow. Okay, I'm just trying to get the last bits of the alcohol ink that are on the plate up on this one. And if it turns out really light, that's okay because that means it can hold some good stamping. Okay, so this one is nice and dark. Cool looking labels. And then this one's going to be nice and light. All right, so I'm thinking I may do just a little bit of stream here. And I'm not really going to move it around a whole lot, but I'm going to take one of these gold ones. Try to soak that up. Let's see. That's even a little more than I wanted. Just put down too much ink. Okay. Gonna let that one dry. All right. I really like this tissue paper. It's not regular tissue paper. It is artist tissue paper. Oh, that was not supposed to go on there. That was already had some stuff. I'm going to use the other end. This is artist tissue paper, and So it is stronger than the regular tissue paper we buy, like to put in a gift bag. And it's great for the gel plate, especially if you like to use your gel print and you're just trying to get the colors you want, or even a print that you want to use for something specific and tear it up. It's easy to tear because it's tissue, but it holds on the gel plate. It's stronger than regular tissue. Hi, KK. How are you doing? Okay, so let me get that up, and then KK, we worked with labels today, and we looked at just 4 simple ways to alter labels. So we have strips of labels and sheets of labels. This is alcohol ink on strips of labels. And this is acrylic paint on strips of labels. Like that one. I think that's one of my favorites. And then what do we have? We had alcohol ink over acrylic paint. And here's a sheet. Here's a sheet of labels. This is the label size. I pulled one off right here. So this is done with acrylic paint on the gel plate with a stencil. Let's see, I'll bet it goes that way. So you just do the colors that you want, because when you pull the individual labels off, they look really cool. The first 2 techniques, I think, are some of my favorite, because you can get very vintage type of labels out of them. And that is this. These are clear labels. That's the size of the label. And we did it as a whole sheet like this. But then when you pull an individual label off, the individual label looks like a piece of washi. It's got script and some design on it. It looks way better than the whole sheet. Doesn't look all that great, but so that technique is one of my favorite. They always look cool. Here's one that's completely dried that I'd been using. And then there was the napkin, and where did that one go? The napkin and washi tape. I thought that was with those. These are just circle labels. What did I do with that one? Oh, there it is. No, that's the old one. What did I do with the new one? So these are sheets of labels that I've cut into thirds after doing them. The whole sheet kind of looks like this, but then when you pull the individual label off, you get these cool individual things that might have a little bit of washi, a little bit of napkin. Underneath it is just vintage photo and Victorian velvet. Just literally took the pad and rubbed it on it, and that's what gave the background, the vintage background. So I like those. These 2 are my 2 favorites, because I just like the vintage look that you get. And it looks like one thing, but yet when you pull the label off, these are still a little bit sticky, because I put glue stick over the top. So typically cut them apart, because then you can cut the napkin pieces This is a way to use up scraps, napkin scraps. We've been trying to use up a lot of scraps. So using napkin scraps or rice paper scraps, that's what that is. So then you can cut it or tear it or do whatever you want with it. Some of them will get a little bit of the washi going across them, and some of them won't. See, just a little bit of that washi looks really cool. And this one too, there's the edge.
Julie loves your doily stencil.
Oh, I have the doily.
Finally finished her second batch of pumpkins, mini pumpkins.
Who did? Sylvia? That's cool. Mini pumpkins would be cool. Oh, KK did. KK,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Of the molds.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, so there you have. Use it as washi paper. Use it as a sticker when you're layering on stuff. Use it as a label. They just look cool. Ed, I didn't see Edna come in. Hi, Edna. Yes, the artist tissue paper. I love it. Edna, I am going to get it. The Minte order's on the way. The Stamperia order I just completed last night. So now the next thing this week, I'm working on everything else, which is mostly ordered from one place. And that will be, I'm going to get the new Tim Holtz color that's coming out this coming Saturday, all the parts and pieces to that, and see how low we can get that. The Finnabar and all the Ranger stuff, any Ranger stuff that we want. There's a couple other things. KK, you'd asked me for some Finnabar stuff. A couple people have asked. I have a list of Prima, Craft Consortium, that gorgeous paper, things like that. All of that's going to come from the same place. So that I'm working on this week. And I will get the tissue paper in with that as well, Edna, because yeah, it is awesome. It's stronger than the tissue paper that we get to use for gifts, but yet it tears up to be able to use it once you to use it to collage or something once you gel plate on it. Okay, so these are regular address labels. I really love these. These are awesome backgrounds. If you just get the colors you want, and you can use anything. You could use gouache. You could use gouache. You could use watercolor. You could use, we did alcohol ink and we did acrylic paint. I don't think I would do oil paint, just so you know. But you can pretty much, here's that one as it's drying, looks really cool. But you can use anything with color. You can use your distress ink refills. You could use those. Okay, so now you can see probably all these little tiny labels that are on here. Actually, I'm going to do it the opposite way. That's the way I like to store them, is pull off the frame. Start in the middle. That makes a whole lot of sense, Marianne. I started in the middle because I was getting that label up right there. And it did make sense. So I prefer to pull off the frame and then keep all the labels on the sheet. And then I can just peel the labels off as I want. And I do this so that I can see the exact color of each one. Because here I just see the whole thing as a whole. But when you do this, you can tell exactly what color or what variation or, you know, what's predominant on every one. This one has a lot of white with a little bit of the others. Some of them have more blue. Some of them have more of the reds. Pulled that one right up. So I'll just do something on top of that. But so on one sheet, I've got all these labels, and look how strong that tissue is. Able to get that right off. And such a variety of colors. all on one sheet. Love the marble look that we got on a lot of these. So do any colors that you want that you might use in your books. Where's the, oh, maybe that's this one. Yeah, that's this one. The large. You know, if you found circles that were 2.5 inches, they would be perfect little ATCs that you could do this way. Backgrounds, just put the sticker on something else. And you could do colors that would be really cool with a black frame. And then just take this sticker and put it on a 2.5-inch circle of cardstock, even a couple layers of cardstock to make it nice and thick. And then you have a black frame around. But even the large ones, they're so different one from the other that I like to be able to see what is there to choose from. Let's see. Circles are cool, aren't they, Sylvia? Moons. Oh, they do look like moons. They do. That totally reminds me of a moon, and I even see the wolf howling in it. That one's a good moon. Wow. There's several of them that are good moon. Not all of them, but several of them are great moons. You could add a little bit to them and make them all look like cool moons. Yeah, I pick them up at thrift shops. They'll always have little office supplies. You always find photo paper and labels. Not always, but when I do, I grab them all. Photo paper and labels because they're perfect. They're perfect for this. And let's see, we had another, this one. Let's keep all the circles together. So 2 completely different color schemes there. And then that one. We got that one. We got lots and lots of these strips. I love these. That some of them just look like clouds. They just look muted backgrounds, like clouds, soft and fluffy. I really like those a lot. Some of the ones up here, like the ones that have grunge on them. But you see that metallic just reflects bad. And then we got these style. I only did 1 sheet of that because it takes a little bit longer to do. It doesn't take longer to do. Huh. I think I was thinking that if I spend too much time on one, we won't get through all of them. So we did. We got through them just fine. We got through all 4. We could have done more. There are so many different ways to alter paper, to alter labels. Just make sure the labels are paper, that they do not have that thin plastic coating on them. Because if they do, they will not work the same. Okay, so when you pull this one up, you could do that. The labels are still all together, so you still just have to kind of look at them individually. But this edging here is really usable. I mean, you could put that down the edge of a tag. I was making a 4, 5, 6-inch tag. Put that right down the edge, and then put a piece of lace so that peeks out, or something else, that goes over it. So I don't typically, on these longer ones, I don't typically pull the frame off because of that. Because I can take the top off, but I like using those long strips. So challenge you guys to try some of these. Try the first two. You don't even have to get out a gel plate. Try the first two with the vintage look on both of them. Post your pictures in the group so that we can see what your results were. And if you get ambitious, make something and use them. Maybe I'll make something and use them. And
Oh, now she wants me to be ambitious. What the
then point out how you used it.
do I have to?
No.
Some of mine didn't come out very well. Some came out really good. Some did not.
Well, let's see.
I'm doing one right now.
You're cleaning. Are you cleaning your gel plate right now?
Kind of trying to, but it's not.
This artist tissue paper is good for picking that stuff up too. I should have given you some.
Mine has so many layers on there. It's not picking
some while you're here. Yeah. Okay, then get a thicker piece of paper, put a thin layer of paint down, push it on really good, and let it sit overnight, or at least until tonight. It's early enough.
up the paper.
Let it sit till tonight. Thin paper will just stick to it, but a thicker paper will pull up that grunge. So, yeah, this side has paint all over it. And it's ugly chartreuse paint at that. Well, not that it's ugly. It's just that I won't use that in any of my projects. There will be colors that I think are cool, but I'm not going to use them in my projects. So I don't usually make things out of them. But didn't want stark white. Added a little bit of yellow. And I got chartreuse. Teach me. So I'm going to cover it with turquoise. See if I can pick up some of the grunge that's still sitting here. All right, that one's done. Let's see what this artist tissue paper can get. So as soon as the Minte comes in, then I'll check with the sales team and we will have a Minte only sale. Just the new Minte that's coming in. Which today's Monday. I expect it this week. Hopefully. They're usually super fast. I usually have theirs in 3 days, but because they've got all these new releases, they have orders from everybody in the world. So that's why it takes them a little longer at new release time. Okay, let's get that other side of this. These sheets are huge. This right here is only half of it. So I'm using the other side.
Yeah, pretty.
To try to pick this stuff up. I usually cut them down. I'll cut this one sheet into 4, and that's what I typically use on the gel plate because these artist tissue paper, they're just huge. So I usually just leave them as a pack, lay it out, and then just grab the scissors and cut the whole thing. It's just too much to handle. All right, let's see if it can pick up some of that. There are so many. It's like yours, Candy. There's so many layers of grunge. Oh, that's pretty. That looks cool.
It looks better on screen than it does in person.
Oh, really? It's because that orange, huh?
Yeah.
It does look cool on screen. It looks more rust on screen. Maybe it's more orange in real life. Okay. There's a lot to pick up here. Hi, Dawn. Did I miss anything else coming in? Who got me hooked on neem paper? Probably Debbie. I don't know. Debbie's the one that got me ordering neem paper.
Nina?
It's not neem. It's Nina. It's Nina paper. Margie, you know what Nina paper is.
That's what just stuck to my gel plate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that
Nina bright white.
Yeah.
Now this wasn't the first one that stuck. This was the label. The label sticking.
All right, let's just use this guy up.
Oh no, there we go.
You're not quite. Ooh, is it coming up?
Some of it.
Dawn's been here the whole time, just watching the process. Awesome. Thank you, Dawn.
Now that looks camouflage.
Oh, it does. It does. It really does. Yeah, guys, I'm sure you've all seen, I pinned the giveaway to the top of the Facebook group. So you don't have to go searching for it if you didn't already get in the giveaway. But if you did, if you'd go there and click on it and then go in and share it to any of your social media to get the word out, I'd really appreciate it. I'd really appreciate it. We like having new people. Keeps us fresh. Keeps us on our toes. Right, Margie? Keeps us on our toes. Okay, so let's see. We'll be back here Thursday, right? Yeah, today's only Monday. It's been a long week already. It's only Monday. Got a lot of stuff still to do this week. Okay, so the giveaway ends tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to be on screen a couple times this week because the giveaway ends tomorrow, which means that the next day, that's Wednesday, the email will go out to everybody on the VIP list that the subscription box is open to them only. So if you haven't gotten on, go into the giveaway, which one of the links will take you to the website. Click on it, get on the VIP wait list so that you can get that email. That will go out to that list on Wednesday. So please be aware, be watching, especially those of you who've asked me specifically, be watching on Wednesday for that email. If you do not have it for any reason, you don't have that email on Wednesday by noon, because I think it's set to go out at midnight or sometime in the middle of the night, or maybe it's way early morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. So it'd be 6 Eastern time. I don't remember. Too many of them going, too many things swirling around my head right now. But if you don't have it by noon on Wednesday, please message me so I can make sure that you on the VIP wait list get it. Because then the very next day it will open to the public for subscriptions. Okay, and then let's see. And then Saturday we will the system that I set up the giveaway through automatically picks the winner, which I love. So I don't even have to do anything to do it. It will automatically pick the winner at the time that I appointed for the giveaway to end. So I will just go in and find out who it is. And then
it's me.
I will hold it until Saturday so that we can announce it on Saturday Night Live, because that will be fun.
Oh, I gotta wait that long? That's not fair.
I know. We'll announce it on Saturday Night Live, the giveaway, and then the winner can also tell me who their friend is that they want to get the free subscription box. And yeah, that'll make for a fun Saturday night. It won't be a full-on Saturday Night Live because we did that last week. It'll be a quick, probably, yeah. We'll have to see if admin, if we have time to do a short laugh and craft, just, hanging out while we do that. But the whole purpose of it is to announce the winner. So it may only be announce winners and And that's that. But it will be live because it's more fun to do the winners live and hope that they're there. It's always more fun when they're there to get excited in the chat. It's more fun for me anyway.
Yeah. See, this is that Nina cardstock, and it wasn't even on there that long.
Ooh, and it's, oh yeah. Wow, it's totally pulling it apart.
I'm like, what the?
Wow.
I paid for better paper, so it would not do that.
Yeah. Maybe when, I don't know, maybe when you get it totally cleaned off, you should do a reconditioning with baby oil. Is that what they use? I've never done that to any of my plates, but maybe it needs to be reconditioned. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's weird. Yeah. No, it's yours or not. Yeah, that's a little crazy. I've had it pull paper apart before, but it's typically copy paper.
I know. That's why I quit using that.
Cheap copy paper.
Well, I guess I'm taking it to the sink when we're done.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, let's see. If your name is on the VIP wait list, you have first chance. Okay. Edna, I think that you're on there. I will double check. If you're not, I'll send you a message. If you don't hear from me, then you are. Get your email. Yes. Dawn, I believe that you're on the VIP wait list. Dawn, no, just check and see by noon if you have it by noon, because only VIPs are going to get to go in on Wednesday. So you're fine. You don't have to get up early. It says to make the paper from neem wood. The
brand, this gel plate. This is the gel plate. This is the expensive one.
Yeah,
the on gel plate. And now I got a cheaper one on 12 by 12. The other brand. What's it?
Gel plate and gel press.
Gel press. This is a gel press. This is the original gel press.
Yeah, gel. I have both gel press and gel plate, and I don't really see a difference in.
No, I don't either.
Well, hi, Lisa. You do not have to be present to win. It's just so much more fun when people are. That's all. Nope, you do not have to be present to win. I'm going to.
I think it came off this time. The paper.
Let's see.
That worked.
Hi, Lucy. I don't. Wait a minute. Maybe I do have that on this one.
Whatever. This one's the original. The other one's the 12 by 12. The other one. Whatever. I don't know what's what.
I have both gel press and gel plate. And I know Candy's is either gel press or gel plate.
Yeah, one's the smaller one was the more expensive one. Which is what? Whatever that one is, the original.
It might be gel plate was more expensive, and then the gel press is a little bit less. I might have them backwards. I think that's the way it is.
I don't know which one's which.
But yeah, they're both expensive.
This is the original name brand.
Okay. Wow.
The 12 by 12 is the off brand. The other brand.
Gel plate. Yeah.
Or whatever. Like I said, I don't know which one's which.
Yeah. Either way, they both are. Yeah. They both are the leaders in the market.
Newer than my 12 by 12.
Wow.
Because I had to buy a new one.
Yeah. That's irritating.
So why it needs condition when my 12 by 12 doesn't is beyond me.
Right. I don't know. Maybe we should Google, why does paper stick to my gel plate?
Oh, there's all different reasons.
And see
I did that last time I did it.
That we haven't already.
And I did condition it with some stuff they told me to.
Shouldn't have to though. I mean,
it didn't work.
You keep it in the clamshell too.
It's in a metal container.
Yeah, I don't even keep it in the clamshell. I keep them laying flat.
Yeah, they lay flat.
Lay flat in a drawer, but with paper between them. But not in their original clam. The only one I keep in the original clamshell is this one, this gigantic one that's like
you can't buy the
12 by 15 or something.
Yeah. See, I have these to keep it in gel storage plate tin. So,
yeah, that's irritating.
Yeah, mineral oil is what I used last time.
Mineral oil. Oh, yeah.
No, it doesn't feel sticky. It feels normal, Julie. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why the paper's sticky.
Wow, yeah.
At first, I thought it was because it was copy paper, so I went and bought some of that Nina Bright White.
Yeah.
That's what I was using today.
Wow.
The
And it's
labels
still
were
doing
printed
it.
on. The ones that were printed were on Nina.
Huh.
The other ones were the cheap paper.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to. They're not that old. I mean, they can't be more than a couple of years old at the most.
This one's not even a year old.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're over time.
So, okay. Yeah. So, okay. So, yep. So the giveaway ends tomorrow. If you would share it on social media today, that would be awesome. Since tomorrow's the last day, I will be sharing it out again and saying, last chance, last day, ends soon, ends tomorrow, whatever. And then Wednesday, watch for an email if you're on the VIP list. If you're not, get over there and get on the VIP list. Just go to the giveaway. It'll take you there. Get on the VIP wait list. That'll come out Wednesday. You'll get first shot at that. Then Thursday, it opens to the public. And when you sign up on Wednesday or Thursday, that will stay open until Monday only. Monday's the 31st, right? Yeah, it'll stay open until Monday only. Then the cart will close and payments will process on the 1st. So if you sign up for the subscription box on Wednesday or Thursday, it's not going to, better not, it's not supposed to charge. I mean, I'm this is all new, guys, and this will be the first month. So I'm hoping everything works the way it's supposed to, technology, but it's not supposed to charge your whatever form of payment until the 1st of November. And then it'll process on the 1st of every month and be shipped out by the 15th. I have a feeling the first one's going to be out before the 15th because I'm so darn excited to get them to you and do a laugh and craft together and play with the stuff.
Thumbs up, ladies, if you haven't already done it.
Thanks, Candy. And thanks for hanging out with me.
Else said it too. I don't know what. I think Sylvia said it.
We appreciate the thumbs up. Yes, come back with hashtag 1,000 subs with a comment on in any and all of the videos. We want to give that one away too. Thumbs up if you haven't already subscribed. And if you subscribe but you haven't hit the notification button, that helps too because you'll get notification when we go live. At least it'll just shoot you a little thing that says Happy Paper People is live. So definitely. After the comment section, after the live, come back to the comments. Yeah, come back into it. The live comments in chat do not stay. It does not hold those. Those are only live. Condition it a few times. You'll be very impressed. I know that she's already conditioned it. Julie, what do you condition yours with?
I've done mineral oils, what I had.
I've never conditioned mine. Do you use something different, Julie? Different than mineral oil? If you do, shoot a message or put it in admin so we all know what to use. She uses mineral oil. Okay. All right. 14 people watching and 14 thumbs up. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Candy, for being here. And I'm sorry about your plate. That's a real thing.
I'm just starting with 12 by 12. It doesn't stick like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go check into that 9 by 11. Is that what it is? 9 by 11? By Dilutions. Yeah. I'd love to get some whole pieces of paper done instead of having to cut them up. So, all right, guys. Watch for other lives that'll pop up too. If there's other things during this week or when the subscription box opens, watch for other lives that will pop up in the Facebook group or on YouTube. They'll just be short.
Lisa, this was the first time I've used alcohol ink on mine. It had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, no, that's the first time she's ever done that.
And this is stuck before. The last time I used it did the same thing. That's why I conditioned it and put it away.
Yep. I've used alcohol ink on mine and I've not had a problem. But yeah, the alcohol ink could be drying, but she has conditioned it. This is the first time. And then even after the alcohol ink, cleaned it really well and then used even acrylic paint on top of it after the alcohol ink. So there's no alcohol sitting there. So this mystery needs to get solved. Yeah, well, yeah. If we can figure it out or she can figure it out, we'll let you know.
Well,
All right, guys.
but I shouldn't have to be conditioning it this soon.
No.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. You totally shouldn't. Thanks, Tina. We'll talk to you guys soon. Love y'all. Bye-bye.